Welcome to Investors Insights. Our topic today is London Bridge is falling down. Why did we pick that topic? A lot's going on the international scene, and Great Britain is a big focus. In addition to that, people ask how does that impact the United States as to what's taking place. A lot of international news, but does it really impact our economy? We're going to talk about that. So Trey, you start off here. We were talking about Boris Johnson earlier in our meeting and what's going on in Great Britain. Elaborate on that.
Yeah, so this week the UK is hosting a general election which will decide who has the majority in the House of Commons there. Boris Johnson called this special election to try and strengthen his majority so that he'd be able to pass a Brexit bill through the House that then could go into the EU. They don't have much time before the end of the year, so they're trying to speed this through, and I think it's going to have a huge impact on global trade, not just the trade between the EU and Britain, but also the trade between the U.S. Boris Johnson and President Trump seem to work well together. So if he holds his majority, that could be good going forward for our relations. You're just looking at this impact we've been talking about for years is finally coming to a head, and the British people are going to get a say. Something we're watching out on that because it's coming midweek, along with several other items. The China trade deal is looming big. The ECB,
and that's on Saturday, right?
That's on Saturday, and so a lot of news will start trickling out throughout the week, and then the ECB and the Fed will make decisions throughout the week. And last week we saw China trade deal bring the market way down at the first negative week in, I feel like, months.
Yes.
And so the market held support, though. We're looking at 30.80 on the S&P 500.
Okay, that's important for our people to understand that.
I don't want to get too
30.80 on the S&P 500.
Exactly. So the market held that and then bounced back. We saw a big rally on Friday. So if the news comes out this week negative, it's not just what the news is, it's how the market, if it holds that support of 30.80, then we feel like we're going to have a strong close to the year, and we'll probably bounce off that level and end higher.
Yeah.
It's like we saw last week. If it breaks through, we may be a little more cautious, but that 3,080 number of the S&P 500 is something we're watching very closely.
Yeah, and that's technical analysis that we look at on the portfolios, and simultaneously we're looking at fundamental analysis. And the fundamental analysis has to do with earnings, the economy, the information that we're getting there, but also on the technical analysis, we're looking at the trends and the trading that's taking place. When are people running in to buy, and at what level do they start to sell?
Exactly. At the end of the day, for the market to go up, you need more buyers and sellers, and those technical numbers tell us a really good indicator of what buyers and sellers are doing.
Right. And on Boris Johnson, this election that's going on, Ashley, you talked about the competition there, who he's running against. Just interject there.
Absolutely.
Quickly.
It is not just Brexit. We were talking about this morning. This is really the most consequential election for the British since the 1970s, specifically 1979 when Margaret Thatcher was elected.
Right, exactly.
And it's not just the Brexit, but the Labour Party on the other side wants to take up government spending in the UK like 10%. So it would be a record level of their GDP. This is going to impact Britain for generations, not just the Brexit part.
Right. So it's a major election, but also putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Now, if you've got Great Britain lining up to have Brexit actually become a reality, at the same time, European economies are not doing well. Everybody agree with me here?
Agreed.
Where are Europeans sending their money, and where do people in Great Britain send their money?
They're sending it right here to the U.S.
Okay. All right. We want you to hear that loud and clear. People in Europe have to have some place to put their money. If they're, depending on the country, their rates may be negative. Their economy is slowing. So you need to understand we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So that said, though, Ashley, you came out with some strong economic news in terms of the United States. So just kind of give us bullet points right quick.
Absolutely.
So as we see Europe having issues, China, you got North Korea firing missiles. We've got all these issues going on. Talk about the United States.
Friday is just as Greg would say, a capsule of why we're doing so well. I mean, the job number was incredible. It's the best job number since January.
Okay.
The wage growth was the best number since February.
Okay.
It's not quite where it was last year, but we were talking this morning, to have this level of job growth 10 years into expansion is unprecedented. And then when you look at what people are spending because they're working, Christmas sales are up 16%. If you look at that period from Thanksgiving to Cyber Monday, it's 16% higher. I mean, we're set up to have a great end of the year. If you look at it, the consumer is spending money. That's the key.
Yeah, across the board, and that's what we're seeing.
Yep.
So on that note, as we go into the holiday season here, we want you to understand the strength of the U.S. economy, all this information that's going on around us in terms of internationally, that it will be highlighted, but is it really going to be impactful? Will it impact your portfolio? We're watching that closely. And that also from the standpoint, going into 2020, the economic news at this point in time is looking very positive.
It is.
So, and then on a final note, let me just say, that a great financial giant of this country passed away this morning, Paul Volcker. And Paul Volcker was chairman of the Fed when I started my career. And keep in mind that mortgage rates were at 17%, tax-free bond rates were at 10%. And this man, as chairman of the Fed, went to Jimmy Carter and said, we've got to choke inflation. He started that process and also under the Reagan administration as well. And today, here we are, at low interest rates, and people are able to finance things at 2, 3, 4%. The point I'm making is the world changes, it evolves, but it's great leadership that makes a difference in having vision and foresight. And as we move forward into the 2020 year, we want you to understand that we will always keep these pieces of the puzzle in looking at them, seeing how they fit together so that we can make a difference in your lives each and every day, striving to do that. We hope you have a great week. We thank you for the business you send us as well as your trust and confidence, and we will keep you updated. Thanks.